The Epstein files are looking increasingly likely to make a major dent in Donald Trump's presidency. Back in February, US Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared on Fox News where she was asked about the files of convicted sex offender and now dead Jeffrey Epstein.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
Now, many in Trump's MAGA base took that to mean that Bondi would soon reveal the Epstein client list. That's a purported list that is said to hold the names of the clients that Epstein and accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked underage girls to, and which they potentially used to blackmail high-profile figures. But earlier this month, the US Justice Department said they'd found no client list and that they wouldn't be releasing any further Epstein files. And that made MAGA very, very angry, with former Trump supporters speculating that the president's name was on the list. And while there's no evidence that that's true, Trump and Epstein did have a relationship, though the president claimed in 2019 that he hadn't spoken to Epstein for at least 15 years. But in 2010, Epstein was questioned under oath in a deposition by a lawyer representing one of his underage victims. During the interview, he was asked about Trump.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Now, the Fifth Amendment enshrines the right not to incriminate oneself. The 6th is about the right to legal counsel, amongst other things. And the 14th involves the right to due process. Last week, the Wall Street Journal reported this. Jeffrey Epstein's friends sent him bawdy letters for a 50th birthday album. One was from Donald Trump. Reporters at the Wall Street Journal have seen the letter, written in 2003, just 3 years before allegations about Epstein's sexual abuse of young girls became public. And about a year before Trump said he stopped speaking to Epstein, they describe it like this. The letter bearing Trump's name, which was reviewed by the Journal, is bawdy, like others in the album. It contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. A pair of small arcs denote the woman's breasts, and the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. The letter concludes, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Doesn't look good, does it? In an interview before the Journal published the article, Trump said this. "This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story. I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women. It's not my language. It's not my words. I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal just like I sued everyone else." Trump has since made good on that threat, suing the Wall Street Journal's publishers. He also barred the paper's journalists from White House press briefings. And now the Wall Street Journal has a new revelation about the Epstein files, now sealed by the Department of Justice. The Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files, and Pam Bondi also told him that the department wouldn't release any more documents because of the presence of child pornography and the need to protect victims. This journal reposts this. In May, Bondi and her deputy informed the president at a meeting in the White House that his name was in the Epstein files, the official said. Many other high-profile figures were also named, Trump was told. Being mentioned in the records isn't a sign of wrongdoing. The official said it was a routine briefing that covered a number of topics and that Trump's appearance in the document wasn't the focus. They told the president at the meeting that the files contained what officials felt was unverified hearsay about many people, including Trump, who had socialized with Epstein in the past, some of the officials had said. One of the officials familiar with the documents said they contained hundreds of other names. Now, that contradicts something that Trump said to a reporter last week in response to a question about Bondi and the Epstein files.
Specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it.
So that kind of, appears to be deflection, blaming former President Barack Obama and other Democrats for a conspiracy. And that was something that Trump did earlier this week in response to another question about Epstein. And yesterday, Trump's director of national intelligence took the stage at the White House to argue that Obama had orchestrated a conspiracy over the so-called Russiagate accusations of the 2016 presidential campaign. I also want to add there that Donald Trump is kind of started his political career in earnest by trying to spread the conspiracy that Barack Obama was not American, that he was not an American citizen, the birther movement, as it was called. So it's funny that now he's saying, well, you're starting conspiracies about me, when really what they're kind of talking about is something that his own Department of Justice has said is true, which is that his name appears in the Epstein files. So if Trump and his team had hoped that that would take the Epstein heat off the president, it hasn't worked. And that's partly because the Republican Party in Washington appears to be closing ranks around the president. On Wednesday, the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, shut the House of Representatives down a day early in what looked like an attempt to crush a Democrat-led vote on releasing the Epstein files. The House is now in recess until September. On the same day, Assistant Attorney General Todd Blanche announced that Pam Bondi had instructed him to reach out to jailed Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell to ask her what she knows. That led many in Trump's base, as well as many of his opponents, to speculate that the president might offer her a pardon in exchange for her silence. Maxwell's lawyers have now confirmed that they're in touch with the Trump administration. Curtis, I want to know why you think this is the issue that seems to be the most likely to fracture the MAGA base. Why is the MAGA base so obsessed, or why are they so affronted by this and not all of the many other things that Donald Trump has done, and all the other many ways in which Donald Trump has betrayed a lot of his base when it comes to, his economic policies, for example?
It's a very good question. And you're absolutely right. There's been so many things that Donald Trump is U-turned on, or rather gone against his base. And largely because it's true, MAGA is a cult. They've gone along with the gravy train. I mean, remember when, before the election, we had people saying, oh, this is going to be the peaceful president. Vote for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Don't vote for the Democrats. They're pro-war. They're hawkish. People like Charlie Kirk were saying that. And then Trump bombs Iran. And of course, he's absolutely hawkish. Even when you look back at his 2016 presidency, he's a very hawkish person, right? His foreign policy is complete and utterly establishment. And they stood by him. Now, the question obviously you've asked is, why haven't they stood by him on this? I mean, first of all, optically, it's really, really bad. I mean, there's no way you could look good in this. And I'm so glad that finally people are looking at Trump thinking, oh my God, this is absolutely disgusting. I mean, they're starting to see Trump for who he is. Like, we have seen him for years, all right? So why is MAGA sort of stuck to this? Well, the reason why MAGA and people on the right wing and far right are obsessed with the Epstein files is, in my view, not because they really care about the victims. It's because they believe that there was a paedophile ring amongst the Democratic establishment. And of course, there are issues with paedophile rings in the halls of power. We know that, right? But for these people, they truly believe that Hillary Clinton had a grooming gag or whatever it was at Pizza Hut or whatever the restaurant they said it was. These crazy conspiracies. So they really wanted the Epstein files to be released, so it implicated Democratic politicians like Hillary Clinton, like Bill Clinton, like Obama. Now, of course, for those of us who actually care about the victims, we don't care who's on that list. They should release it, whether it's Trump, whether it's Bill Clinton, right? There's, when it comes to protecting underage people or anyone from grooming and sexual abuse, right? This transcends political borders, absolutely, but not for MAGA. So that's why it's been so important for them to get him to release this. And the fact that Donald Trump isn't doing that, we know what that means. I mean, it's so funny how he said he's not been in contact with Epstein 15 years ago. And that video clip you played was from 2010. I mean, I guess you could say he's technically correct. But they were friends for like 10 years. So there's too much coincidence. There's too many photos and videos of them two together. Donald Trump is a creep, disgusting human being. And we wish people on the right wing who voted for Trump could see this, but it's taken this point that they have. And it's even more egregious that you've got Republican politicians trying to shut down a bill because they're worried that it's going to implicate Trump. Just the optics of this looks so bad. And I don't see how Trump can really get away from this. I mean, of course, he has the big donors. He has the support from the establishment. There's enough MAGA people out there who will still continue to support him. I don't think he's going to be sort of removed from office or anything like that. But I do think it's going to be the case of what happened in 2016, where, you know, Donald Trump wasn't particularly popular in 2016 because people realized what far right and, dare I say, fascist politics looks like, and no one likes it. And then obviously when Joe Biden became president, people kind of forgot, right? Now people remember what America is like under Donald Trump, and people are not liking it.
The MAGA coalition brings together a lot of, it's a motley crew. It brings together, it's a lot of like incoherent politics together. There's a lot of contradictions, and it's all really been tied together by this idea that Trump is that a lot of them believe that Trump is the man who's coming to save them. You know, some people literally believe that he's like sent from God. But there is this kind of like real belief in like the integrity, actually. I think a lot of them see Trump as someone who is willing to speak the truth, who's willing to say it like it is, who has integrity. And if that collapses in their eyes, I mean, most of us didn't see it to begin with. Most right-minded people didn't see it like that to begin with. But if that concept collapses in the eyes of MAGA, or becomes compromised in the eyes of MAGA, it's interesting. The MAGA coalition might not be able to stay together because there was very little else other than just pure racism that was holding them together. So it'll be kind of interesting to see, I guess, where that ends up.